The Edith Evans Festival. In I Only Want an Answer by Fred Denger, English version by Basil Ashmore, Edith Evans plays the only part, that of Amy Turner, a 65-year-old charwoman. Amy's bed-sitting room in a block of working-class flats in a large industrial city. Amy is alone, apart from her pet budgerigar, Kathy. It is early on a weekday morning.
Kids, noisy brats. Can't bear to hear them all the time. Makes me remember how my Bertie used to play down there once. It don't seem all that time ago, it don't and all. I wonder what he's doing now. I wonder. Oh, well. You're ticking loud this morning, aren't you? Can't you stand the strain of waiting either? Well, you have to learn the same as I've done. That's one thing as life has taught me. How to wait. You know. Don't you, Kathy? Yes. You had to wait before we got this nice new cage for you to stretch yourself in. 2 whole years it was before we could afford it. But we got it in the end. Sorry? I suppose the only things that come without much waiting for are grey hairs. They come soon enough, they did, God knows. Yes, I remember it was on my birthday I first noticed. Not before I'd gone to bed as usual, but when the morning came, I went up to the mirror and I saw silver threads among the gold. Still, who's to care now? Where's my sewing? I won't look at that clock until the postman's been. He may not come, of course. Well, if he's not here by the time it strikes the half, I'll know. He isn't bringing me a letter. And I won't look when I hear his footsteps neither. If I pop my head out and he's only bringing something for the Joneses, wouldn't I look stupid staring at him? I refuse to look ridiculous. My Bertie won't forget his mother's birthday. No, not even though his wife don't like him coming. She can't stop him writing. What do you say, Kathy? Cheep, 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 cheep. Have a lump of sugar? If I just knew sometimes what you think. I dance a jig. You never say a word, not one. Just stare as though you thought, oh, that old woman rattles on. Perhaps I do. But can't you understand? I only want an answer now and then. Yes. Look at them 2 parcels lying there as innocent as lambs who dream as they were guilty. Not me. Not me. Yes, that's a proper daft thing to be saying. Clock will strike soon. Any minute it'll strike the half. I could hold the pendulum and close my eyes, pretend time had stopped just for a bit. Give my boy time to remember that today is his mother's birthday. Time to think that... No use lying even to yourself. I'd hear the church clock strike along the street. No use pretending as you can't hear that. No, better face it, Amy. It's your birthday. You're 65. Your boy's not coming. And the postman's gone and brought no letter. Postman's gone and brought no letter. Gone like my fiancé and my nice black hair. Could make a song of that. Postman's gone and brought no letter. Yes, they both went at the same time. Funny thing that, I had a dream. I saw him with the blonde. A piece around the corner. Saw it clearly, how he kissed her. When I woke, I saw my first grey hair. It didn't seem so funny then. I knew inside, as it was no dream, really. So I asked him, and it was true. The whole street knew about it. Long before me. Long, long before. that, Kathy? 1:30 and no letter. Sometimes I begin to think we're all in hell. Nobody to care. My son, who ought to care, he's forgotten. Oh, no, he's good and kind. It's Bertie, it's his wife, it's her. She doesn't like me, so he daren't write. Besides, at my age, what's the letter matter? Can a bit of paper make you happy? Fancy sitting here and brooding just because today's your birthday. Silly, stupid, Amy. Stupid. It's because you're stupid you've been a char all your life. 5 and 6 an hour. You think you're worth it, do you? Good pay for the likes of you, girl. Not to mention free lunch sometimes and your 6 mince pies at Christmas. Moan? Well, you're lucky. Think of all those refugees in Oxfam and those earthquake victims. Oh, get on now with your darling. Dear God, tell me, will you, what to do? I can't just sit and wait for things to happen. Wait for you to work a miracle. Please, understand, I'm not praying. Praying seems like begging. And if you're just, and I'm sure you are, try saying to yourself, I think she's earned it. And I don't mean help from you. No, I mean this thing in the parcel lying on the table. See? I've never been in trouble. Well, I know that was my baby, but a baby isn't criminal. In any case, I paid for that. I paid for 40 years. You think, of course, she's not religious. On account I hardly ever go to church. But you should understand, when Sunday comes, I'm tighter than a dog. You know that, don't you? Yes, I agree. I never kneel and pray before I go to bed, and you, God, see these things. But can you see the way my back aches? Can you? You should just try kneeling all day, same as I do, scrubbing floors day after day, year after year. My whole life spent down on my knees. And that's a penance, if you like. All right, I'm all excuses. But if you, God, you know all, can't you understand? I'm sick of muck and dirt and muddy feet and stale old cigarette ends. So, God, can't you take all that into account as well? God's got more important things to do than listen to my moaning. Probably consoling some old Indian widow somewhere, and she'll need consoling if they really stick it on a bonfire. I read that somewhere in a book once. Yes, compared with her, I've nothing to complain of. Have I, Kathy? I should be content like you. I've got me cage and me seed and water, and I'm warm. I don't need spoiling. But I do. I do want to be spoiled just once. So you'll find that ridiculous. Perhaps it is. But all the same, it would be nice if someone was to say, "You all right? Can I do anything? Like to put your feet up? Have a cup of tea?" Heaven's name, what am I all worked up about? It's balmy wanting luxury at my age. Yes, which brings me back to them 2 parcels. If I took the big one right away to Dr. Howell, everything would be all right. I've only kept it here an hour. Well, what do you think, Kathy? Shall I take it? Would you take it? Can't you even try to answer? Make an effort. Say hello, if nothing more. Go on, look, say hello. That's mean I'll go if I were you. Well? Oh, I know what you're thinking. Don't you shift responsibility to me. That's it. Eh? I suppose you're right at that. You're restless, aren't you? Same as me. Perhaps you realize today's a kind of test. My son's not come or written. That's not the end of everything. Not by a long chalk. I've got 3 good friends who do care. At this very moment, they'll be getting ready for my birthday dinner. turned your back, eh? Don't believe me? Well, then I'll tell you who they are. And inside the next 2 hours, they'll be here. Then we'll see who's right. Eleanor, she's coming from the West End. She's a char like me. Well, not like me exactly. She does private homes. She's a modern, high-class kind of char. Daily help, she calls herself. She only has to turn a knob and everything gets cleaned by electricity. Imagine that. At the food shop where I work, there's people pouring in out all day long. Every one of them's got filthy feet. There's only one way you can cope with their dirt. Get down on your knees and scrub. I'm glad it's not Frella, though. She's not as strong as I am. Couldn't stand the bend-ins. And they treat her like a queen, too. Hot meals, midday, cups of tea. Oh, Ella's doing very nicely, thank you. And she's not forgotten me. She's been my friend for years and years and always will be. Then there's Granny Crockett, 81, and once known better times. And now, the old folks' institution. Wouldn't care for that myself. Poor Granny. Someone says used to be a beauty. She still looks nice, with all them soft white curls. Does her myself with curling irons. Matching it at her age. All the same, though, what a life. No room to call your own, no privacy, no way to live at all. When I invited her to dinner, she got so excited, I just felt like crying. And then there's Arthur. Oh, to think I came across my Arthur after all these years, and I knew him too. I thought my heart had stopped. I just left Mr. Warbeck's shop, and there was Arthur peering through the windows at the foodstuffs. Looked famished. Poor old Arthur. Always liked his belly. My first thought on seeing him was, oh, well, leaving me's not brought him much luck by the look of it. And when I spoke to him, he jumped and stammered, Amy, just like that, nothing else. He never asked me how I was, or was I married. He couldn't ask about our boy because he didn't know, of course. He just kept staring. When I asked him how he was, he went all formal. Quite well, thank you, Amy. And how about you? Quite well. Poor Arthur. And to think I used to say he was handsome as a film star. Must have been good-looking once, though, at that. Or Millie wouldn't have wanted him with her looks and her education. She was mighty choosy. Could have taken any man she wanted, and she took my Arthur. Made him leave me for a better match. That's what his mother called it. Didn't last, though. Millie took him and she left him. I suppose it's what you'd call justice. I don't know. He's not the man he was, all thin and peaky, and a wombly voice. I expect mine sounded funny, too. Could hardly speak at first, and then out it came. Well, Arthur, I said, you look well, which was a lie. But I could hardly say you look like death warmed up. I said a dafter thing instead. I said, you're going to buy a few things? I could recommend the food here. Why on earth did I say that? When any one-eyed lunatic could see he hadn't eaten properly for ages. Well, daft things come out when you're flustered. Arthur took it very well. Why, no, he said, I'm only looking. That shop's far too dear for me. And then he smiled. And he said, I often wonder who affords to shop in such a place. Now it turns out as you do. Do you often come here? Fairly often, I said. Fairly often, which was true. It's not a bad shop, though they charge a lot. I suppose you think I should have told the truth. Explained my shopping basket only had my apron in it underneath the paper. Told him I knew the shop well from across the pail of soapy water. But when any woman say I'm just a char, that's where I work. I've been a char for years, to keep your son. I couldn't say that. When he hears about the boy, it's got to be, well, in a nice way, not thrown in his face out in the street, with half his mind on that great lobster in the window. Said of which I did a stupid thing. I actually pretended that it might be what I wanted. Oh, said I, in a superior kind of way, that lobster might be what I'm wanting for my lunch tomorrow. I'm quite fond of lobster. Yes, goes to show the way the devil slips between your lips before you know it. Lobster for my lunch tomorrow, me. I said it. Heard the words as though someone else had said them. Yet I've often dreamed of eating real lobster. Not for every day, of course. Just once. Although I don't know what it tastes like. Well, now I'm going to find out. In an hour's time, when Arthur, Granny Crockett, and old Ella come, I'll know what lobster tastes like. Lord, what made me say those words? I couldn't somehow hold them back. I said, well, Arthur, if your memory was better, you'd remember that I'm 65 tomorrow. I said this in an offhand kind of way. Since it seems you're not so well off as you were, perhaps you'd like to call and try a bit of lobster for my birthday treat. Unless, of course, you've something better you've arranged. He didn't understand at first. I had to tell him my address 3 times before he caught on. It'll be a quiet affair, I told him. Just yourself and 2 good lady friends of mine. Hope that lobster's going to be big enough. Well, what'd you say? He found his tongue at last and he muttered, if you want me to, I'll come, of course. Though God knows why you should. I wronged you once. Forget all that, I told him. What's the use of looking back? Lord, no one's innocent at our age. After that, he swore he'd not forget what I've just said. Not the bit about forgetting, but about the lobster. Seems he'd always craved to try lobster. Well, we didn't say no more. He hadn't time to give me his address. The rush hour crowds were on. They swept him out of sight. 2 women dressed in furs stood where he'd been. One said, that lobster doesn't look too bad. It might tempt Timothy. When she said that, suddenly, I realised that I've invited Arthur home to eat it. Funny how your fate's decided and never even know. What am I to do, for heaven's sake? Arthur and the others will be coming soon. I've been so stupid. And to think it very nearly worked out all right. Before I left the shop, the boss said I could have the pick of anything I fancied as a birthday present and for cleaning out his shop for 10 years. I said as I'd like to think it over. I knew what I wanted, but that wife of his was near him. I could hardly say in front of her, I'll have that lobster in the window. All the same, these women talking set me rushing in again. I found the boss alone and I said, I'll have the lobster if you don't mind. Mr. Warburg laughed. You know what's good, all right. But leave it here to dress the window till tomorrow. What a weight dropped off my shoulders. If he just said no. When I'd invited Arthur and those women in their furs prepared to buy it. Still, all's well that ends well. So I thought. But why did Dr. Howell have to ring our shop this morning when the boss was out? Say he wanted a lobster sent round. I was kneeling by the phone and heard him. God, I kept saying to myself, don't let my birthday present go. But what was I beside a customer like him? He's worth near 100,000, I've been told. The boss's wife was purring down the phone. As it happens, Doctor, we've a lovely lobster at this moment. Naturally, we'll send it by this evening. Yes, of course. Goodbye. So there it was. She put the phone down. I got slowly to my feet and I said, excuse me, Mrs. Warburg, but you mustn't sell that lobster. What, she said? You can't. You shan't. I should have said it differently, but when one's all upset, have you gone mad? No, that's my lobster, mine. It's only there to dress the window. Mr. Warburg gave it to me. I've never had a lobster, never, but I'm having that one for my birthday. And I started banging on the counter. I suppose I overdid it. She went off the deep end. Had enough for me, she said. She wouldn't take no lip from an employee. Too big for me boots I was, so out I had to go. Out, here and now, and don't come back tomorrow. Right, I said, but what about my lobster? You think you've a right to lobster, you? She started laughing. Who do you think you are, then? Royalty or something? And she laughed till I thought, God help me as I do her in. Then I remembered my Bertie might be coming home to see me. So I took my apron off without a word, put it in my basket, fetched me hat and coat and put 'em on. Then she gave me this little parcel. Said it's what I've meant I should have. and gave me my cards, my wages, and the order of the boot. Oh, Kathy, didn't I feel small then? Made a proper mess of things I had. I could have thrown a little parcel in her face. What good would it have done? Off I went without another word. Dear God, why can't a lobster just be something anyone can have? Why does it have to be so out of reach, so we keep longing for it? Why? I stood outside and tried to think. What could I say to Arthur and the others? I've been standing there a bit. When Jeff the shop boy comes out, he sees me, calls out, "Off I'm already. Now do me a favour, Amy. Drop your lobster in at Dr. Al's place on your way home, and I'm all behind as usual. Be seeing you." And so he cycles off. I didn't let on I was sacked. I should have said I was, but I didn't. So since 9 o'clock this morning, I've been traipsing round with these 2 parcels, one for Dr. Al and one for me. In 50 minutes, my 3 guests are coming. They're expecting lobster. And one guest will be Arthur. Oh, God, please, can't you spare a minute? Leave your Indian with her for a while. God, I've got such a problem. It's not much to you, no doubt, but can't you understand? This lobster's mine. By rights, it's mine. It's mine. All right. If I get no answer, here goes. 2 o'clock already. Oh, God, if only I was dreaming. How's it all to end? My job's gone, not to mention self-respect. Postman didn't come, no message from my boy, and now my 3 guests never showed up. Why? They all know where I live. Ella's been here lots of times, and Granny Crockett. As for Arthur, I distinctly told him 3 times. Flat 11, Bentley House, the 5th floor, Ringdon Road. He couldn't have forgotten that. Well, could he, Kathy? That's right, you turn away. You couldn't care less, could you? As for you, you lobster, it's too late to take you on to Dr. Alfred. I boiled you and you're not black anymore. You're lucky. You've got it over with. Well, I've got everything to come. My shame and my punishment. I can't help feeling something's up against me, something big. All I can do is wait and listen to your ticking. Why did someone have to make the first clock? Couldn't they have left things as they were and kept an hourglass? Yes, an hourglass would be nice and quiet. Not like you noisy, soulless bit of mechanism. Oh, no, forgive me, it's not your fault. I know. Someone ought to paint all this. Amy Turner staring at a hateful lobster. Yes, you're hateful. You're the cause of everything. The reason why I'm out of work and going to be arrested. Out of work, no, Charles aren't ever out of work, but all the same, arrested. Everything's all ready. Cake done to a turn. Kettle's boiling for the tea. Bread and butter cut, 2 kinds of jam. Wish I got a tin of cream, though. There's one inside this little parcel. Tins of cream have been reduced this week. I wonder. No, better not. I promised this one for Dr. Howell, though he doesn't know he's getting it. He's to get a Charles meal in exchange for his. A special meal, the child's reward for 10 years scrubbing. And I'll see he gets it, so that he can tell the judge she did bring something in exchange, though it was pretty shabby. Then perhaps the judge will understand. It could be someone with a heart. You never know. Things generally turn out opposite to what you think they will. If you're always waiting for things, you overwait. I mean, what's the word? Anyway, suddenly you feel you've got to howl your eyes out. If you don't, there's only one thing left to do. You keep on talking and you keep on. But once you stop, you know that fate's got something nasty waiting for you, so you don't stop and you keep on talking. And I won't stop or think. I'll enjoy my lobster, that's it. I won't wait for anyone. I'll start right now. Is it how'd you begin? That's if I know. Someone's come. Well, thank God for that. Thank God. I'll come in. Amy, you're a fool. Can't you have a little trust, a confidence? Someone knocked at the wrong door. It was Mrs. Jones they wanted, not me. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, God's having fun at my expense. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord, I've laughed so much for years. No, not again. No, please. Never take a joke too far. No one calls here for a week. Now the whole world's calling. Such a fuss and all for nothing. Go on, knock away. Keep knocking. Go on. Oh, well. That's that. Better fill the kettle up a bit. Perhaps it was for me. Might have been my son. Oh, Amy, won't you ever learn, you fool. Flowers on my doorstep. Must be meant for Mrs. Jones, that's certain. There's no one on the stairway. Must have slipped off pretty smartly. Well, now what do I do? If they're really meant for me. The flowers. They do smell nice. Very nice. But Kathy, flowers. Someone sent us flowers. Aren't we honoured? Someone's not forgotten what today is. Who, though? Oh, there's a note inside them. It's addressed to me. Dear Amy. Please don't worry about the boy who's bringing this. I've already tipped him. I was very pleased to get your invitation yesterday. You must believe that. All the same, this letter is to say I won't be coming. I shan't lie to you and say I've caught a chill, for you deserve the truth. I've only one old suit and dreadful shoes. I'd show you up among your friends. I don't want to disgrace you, Amy, even though I've always longed to eat a lobster once before I die. All the same, I'd do the wrong thing. I don't even know the way you eat a lobster. And you said 2 ladies would be coming. Think I'd embarrass you if things went wrong. I'm sure you'll understand and will forgive your old friend Arthur. P.S. Have a happy birthday. Well, there's no address. I don't know where to find him. So, that's that. Changed his mind. Do you think I'm so superior? And it was me to let him to believe that. I'm as poor as him, but I was just too proud to let him know. Because he's got no proper shoes. He isn't coming. Shoes are so important. Arthur, we've a son, and you don't even know. Handsome boy, as handsome as you were, and he's married a lady as you did, and he's ashamed of me. He leaves me all alone as you've done. And no, I won't stay here alone. Not with that lobster on the table. It's robbed me of my job, my self-respect, and someone's got to eat it. I can't. I'll go out and find the others. That's what I'll do. God can't fool me. I'll go out and bring them back myself. See if I don't. A day will come when I shall hear you strike him for the last time, thank God. And I won't be forced to sit and hear you eating up the hours. Oh, if it could be my last hour. If only it could. What are my hopes for the future? God's played such a joke on me. Or did you think my old heart's unbreakable? Why have you done it? Is it my fault? Have I failed your purpose? Failed because I never put my trust in you completely? I don't know. I wonder what old Granny Crockett's thinking. What was it the matron told me? I'm afraid her old brain was disturbed. She dressed for breakfast in a white silk dressing gown, just like a young girl going to a wedding. She refused her porridge, said she mustn't eat as she was going to have a very special lunch. Well, what special lunch would that be, they inquired. She said a lobster. Everybody laughed. Imagine Granny Crockett having that. She put on her best dress, so now she thought she'd go upstairs and do her hair for Amy's birthday dinner. She just peered into the mirror. I can almost see her peered hard at her poor old face, and then heard someone laughing in the passage. Look, Her Highness wants her hair curled, too. And she heard their cruel laughter. Did she get a taste of lobster? Did she? If so, then perhaps that made her happy. For a moment. And she could have thought, that treat I long for's coming true. Well, anyway, she died 1 minute before midday. Died not in a bed with all her friends around her, but just sitting with a comb held in her hand. Oh, God, why did it have to end like that? Please tell me, why? Tell me, is it any use my asking questions? Won't he ever give an answer? Do you mean to say that everything is right the way you do it? And that things go wrong because if we are greedy, things always end in disappointment? Is that it? Yet was he so greedy, really? Funny, after all I'd done, the way that Ella shocked me. Daily help. She helps herself all right. I couldn't be like her, not if I starved. Her type would soon spoil all our reputations. When I came back from seeing Matron and heard someone talking on the landing, I thought, that's Ella nattering to Mrs. Jones, and it was. And she'd been drinking. When she sees me climbing up, she shouted, "Back already? Thought I'd been invited to your birthday." Mrs. Jones hopped off and Ella pulled herself together. "Happy birthday, Amy. Sorry I was late-ish. Got delayed. Still better late than never, eh? Especially as I brought something you'll never find in Woolworths." She laughed and laughed. Perhaps she meant it kindly, but I didn't feel like laughing. Not when I'd just seen an old friend dead. Looking just as if she wanted to say something. Some such words as, "Thank you, Amy, for the invite, but I have a pressing engagement." Yes, she looked as if she wanted to excuse herself for having died. Oh, I felt so miserable. Still, Ella couldn't know all that. When we came in here, Ella skipped up to the table, laughed, and said, "Oh, how'd you do, you dear little lobster? Aren't you pretty? Honest, Amy, would have thought you had the pluck." She carried on. I barely listened. Just went to the wardrobe, found my black frock, and put it on. Yes, and when I turned round, she was playing with the lobster, making it sit up and beg and wave its claws. So I said, "Ella, leave the poor thing alone, please. It's not done you any harm. Perhaps it had to be, but I don't think it liked the way it died. So don't make fun of it. Sit down and have some cake." She took a slice and started talking, going on about a patent polisher that does the falls by electricity and makes them smell nice. It was silly of me, but I didn't want to hear all that. Then something dreadful happened. Something I'd not have thought of Ella, not the years I've known her. I'd admired her for so long. I started to serve up when Ella said, "Hold on, we haven't seen your present yet." And then she fumbles in her bag and gets out a package, gives it to me and says, "Here, that's roast lobster." I said thanks and cut the string and opened it. Dear God, I dropped it on the plate. She said, "Well, never mind, a broken plate means luck." If only that was true. But what had dropped on my plate wasn't lucky. Cutlery. 3 spoons, 3 knives, 3 forks in solid silver, each engraved with somebody's initials, J.P. Why had Ella done this to me? Stolen things on my account. "Hope you realise their worth," she said. "You'll notice they're engraved. Not to worry, that's scratch off. Nobody'll notice." I couldn't speak. I just kept staring at those letters. J.P. "What's the matter? Don't you like them? Too expensive?" "Not to worry. You can do as much for me at your place. Always fancied patty de foie gras. Can't get near the food at my dump. But for God's sake, don't start taking things like lobsters. Somebody's sure to spot the big stuff. Stick to caviar and things like that." At last I found my voice. "If you're not mad," I said, "stark, staring mad, take this stuff back and never play such tricks on me again. I know we're only Charles, but aren't we human beings? Charles have pride like other people. Charles aren't thieves." She jumped at that. "Oh, don't you preach to me," she says. "You call yourself a missus, and we all know you was never married. Telling me what I should do. You with your precious lobster right there. You've shown yourself for what you are, so don't you put on airs." But what could I say? It was true, every word of it. She went on, "Look, we'll make a mutual arrangement. Eat like millionaires, we both will. Make hay while the sun shines. I bring you the odd bobs. You get odds and ends of fancy food. Well, what you say?" Suddenly it seemed the whole world was against me. "No!" I shouted, thinking of the lobster and the cake, the flowers that Arthur sent to my boy and Granny, and the stolen silver. That at least I knew I could cope with, so I threw it at her. "Go away!" I shouted. Her face went horrible. She picked the silver off the floor and put it in her bag, then crossed towards the door. Thank God, I thought, in half a minute she'll be gone. She didn't go. She turned back at the door and screamed, All right, I'll make you pay for that. Your stolen food won't taste so good, not when I've been to the police and told them what you've done. You wait and see." And then she went. Kathy, what ought I to do? Please, can't you give me a sign or something? It's almost dark outside and no police yet. I must wait. I've always had to wait for something. Now it's for the police. I waited for my boy this morning and he didn't come. But they'll come knocking on my door. And I shan't deny a thing. That lobster's there to prove I took it. I shall get my hat and coat and go without a word, and that'll be the end of it. Things could have turned out differently. Tomorrow Bertie might have written telling me he'd been delayed, that he's coming later. Arthur might have thought things over and decided that he'd come tomorrow after all, in spite of his old suit and shoes. And I'd have told him of our son. I'm sure things could be different tomorrow. Would have been today if you, God, hadn't twisted everything so cruelly. Twisted things that I'm now as bad as Ella, that I never meant to be. Oh, God, why did you do it? Dr. Howell, I can't even bring the little parcel now. I've got to sit and wait until the police come. And if I'm not in, they might think as I was trying to escape. And then they'd... Oh, someone's coming. Climbing up the stairway. Heavy boots. Must be a policeman. Reached the 4th floor now. He doesn't stop. He knows I'm on the 5th. It's not the Joneses' place he'd be calling at. It's mine. He's stopping. Not because he's calling somewhere else. Oh, no. He's peering at the little card. Got an arrow pointing this way with my name on it. Amy Turner, flat 9. No convictions up to date. We're coming nearer. Now his right hand's on the banister, and he finds it hard to see, but there's no light. Oh, Kathy, things are going to happen that I can't prevent. Perhaps dear people may be kinder than we think. Perhaps someone may come in and see to you when I'm away. A heavy-fisted hand, it executes the law. I could sit here and wait until he comes in for me. No, Amy, you've been too afraid too long. You go out and face it. Now, go on. Coming. It wasn't a policeman, Gaffy, not a bit of it. Just a messenger in heavy boots. He's brought me something. Look, a parcel and a letter, too. Now, where's my specs? Warburg Delicatessen from the boss. Dear Amy, just back from a trip and heard about your little mishap. Sorry that your lobster went to Dr. Howell, but I'm sending you another one to replace him. I hope you had a happy birthday and that your appetite's still good. Best wishes, Bernard Warburg. P.S. I'm expecting you, as usual, tomorrow. Oh, God. I can't take Dr. Howell's lobster, but I can take him this one from Mr. Warburg. Quick, where's my hat and coat? And God, forgive me, please. Forgive this stupid old child. It took so long, so very long to understand.
Edith Evans played the part of Amy in I Only Want an Answer by Fred Denger.